Hey, before we get into today's show, I wanted to make you aware that my next online breathwork class is coming up soon. The link to learn more and register for the class is in the description below this episode. I hope to see you there. Hey everyone, Ryan Kennedy here. Welcome back to another episode of the show. Today I'm talking about my favorite modified fasting protocol. I developed this strategy as I was guiding a lot of people I work with in my practice, as well as my students in my courses and programs, through ways to really reap a lot of the same benefits as multi-day water fasting, but to do it in a way that's safer and also a lot easier while still getting all of the types of benefits. So I'm going to touch on the benefits briefly, but really I want to dive into the meat and potatoes of this fasting protocol, which is quite an ironic way of using that figure of speech because there's no meat or potatoes involved in this particular fasting protocol. So many of you have probably heard fasting is like the holy grail of health and wellness right now. It's the simple act of just not eating anything, and it confers so many freaking benefits, saves you time, saves you money. And as a result, it gives your digestive system a complete break and actually a nice little shuffle in your microbiome to almost recalibrate things in a very positive way. It can especially help if you're chronically bloated to really give the digestive system time to process what's being kind of bombarded with. And when you have fermentation in the gut, which is what's causing the gas buildup and the bloating, and then you're just piling more food on top of what's already not making its way through your digestive system properly, well, now you're just compounding the issue. And so when you stop that vicious cycle and you take a few days of not eating any solid food, what you'll come to realize is you feel freaking fantastic. Your gut feels better than ever, and you just get this enormous boost in energy, mental clarity, and all these other benefits. Now, it can be challenging. Fasting is not easy, but it is simple. And so the traditional way of doing this would be called water fasting, where you're not eating any food, you're just drinking water. And you could do this for anywhere from a 24-hour, one-day fast to up to 7 or even 10 days in some of the more extreme approaches. And the benefits of autophagy, which is cellular cleanup, and just getting this widespread kind of cleaning house of the body systems is miraculous. It is freaking incredible, people. And so I'm a huge fan of this concept, but what I found is that when you're doing strict water fasting, it creates a couple of obstacles. One is electrolyte imbalances. Many of us get our minerals and our electrolytes like magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, etc., through the food that we're eating. And salting our food and eating things like avocado for potassium and eating other foods that have magnesium. And when you start to, just completely eliminate those, and now you're drinking all this water, probably more water than you normally do because you're especially hungry, and water helps to somewhat tame your appetite. And then what a lot of people also do is they'll drink a lot of coffee and tea, which are also diuretics and can deplete your mineral balance. People will develop these mineral imbalances that can leave you feeling lightheaded, can give you a headache, can leave you feeling really fatigued and lethargic, and can just really decrease the really tolerance of fasting. Now it's not this easy, simple thing. It's like you are struggling through it and feel like you got hit by a truck. You got like flu-like symptoms and you are just not in a happy place. And so to avoid some of that, what I found to be enormously effective, and not to mention on the electrolyte imbalances, they can be somewhat dangerous. These electrolytes, these minerals are essential for cardiac function and for many different functions in the body. And while going a couple of days without them is highly unlikely to give you any serious, issues, we're all different. And if you're very compromised in your health and in your health status at the moment, it's not always the best idea to do a strict water fast for multiple days at a time without medical supervision. Now, what I'm suggesting is a modified liquid fast, where you're getting a lot of the same fat burning benefits, gut healing benefits, and overall cellular cleanup benefits, but you're providing the body with some nutrition. And so what this would look like is really doing 2 quote unquote meals per day. And your meal in the morning would comprise of fresh pressed vegetable juice, no fruits, because by bringing in a boatload of sugar, you're going to decrease a lot of the benefits of fasting. And so I want to, before I go any further, mention if you want this entire what I'm calling RK fasting protocol, this modified fasting protocol in writing in a 1-page PDF to give you the exact details of what to consume and during this time, simply send me an email at ryankennedyhealth.com, or I'm sorry, ryankennedyhealth@gmail.com is my email. You could also go to the website or send me a message on Instagram. I'd be happy to get you set up with this protocol completely for free, just so that you could have this direction, because I've seen this really transform so many people's health and really be a great catalyst to kickstart your healing journey, to really accelerate your progress and push things in the right direction very, very quickly, so that you gain that initial momentum and then transition to a healthy approach from there that's obviously a lot less extreme, that's more sustainable, to really catapult you in the right direction. All right, so back to the essentials. Upon waking, you would have fresh pressed vegetable juice, and you can have this anytime in the morning. It could be shortly after you wake up. It could also be several hours later at 9, 10, 11 a.m. But sometime in the first half of the day, you'd have some fresh pressed vegetable juice. Don't get the store-bought stuff in a bottle. That's all dead. The vitamins are degraded. The enzymes are all dead. You don't get a lot of benefits from the store-bought stuff. So press your own, or go to a juice bar. Like Whole Foods has a fresh juice bar where they juice it right in front of you. That's going to confer the most benefit. And you're just going to use a few simple vegetables. It's going to be some celery, some cucumber, and some lemon or lime. That's all you need. Now you could add in fresh herbs like cilantro or watercress, totally optional, but this will keep the sugar and carbohydrate load of the juice very, very low, while bringing in the structured water, while bringing in the minerals, while bringing in a lot of beneficial enzymes. And the enzymes are going to really be transformative in helping to create more benefit with this whole process. Now, you're not ingesting hardly any calories with this. You're not ingesting really any significant quantity of protein or fat. And so that's really going to serve as a way to easily digest and assimilate some of these micronutrients in a way that's not going to really deter the benefits of the fast. Now, a lot of people will say, Ryan, does this break my fast? Well, technically anything will break your fast. Anything, tea, coffee, freaking some toothpaste, it ultimately is just about, does this functionally deter from the benefits I am seeking? And my answer would be no. This is going to contribute to the benefits. So you're going to do your fresh pressed vegetable juice, no fruits, anywhere from 16 to 24 ounces. And that would consist of, 6 or 7 stalks of celery, anywhere from half to a whole cucumber, and 1 peeled, lemon or lime, because the sourness in the citrus is going to completely mask the bitter, earthy taste of the greens, because celery juice is not pleasant to drink. No one likes that. But you add in some fresh squeezed citrus, and now it just tastes like this cold, sour, refreshing beverage. And it totally masks the gross taste of the celery. And then, like I said, if you wanted to add in some cilantro, watercress, parsley, some other herbs, more than welcome to. But no fruit, and ideally no high sugar vegetables like beets or carrots for this specific purpose. Normally I'm okay with those, but not for this specific modified fast. In conjunction with this vegetable juice, either shortly after or before, really no wrong way to do it, you're going to have about 16 ounces of grass-fed beef bone broth. Now, bone broth does have some protein, it does have some fat, and it will technically break your fast, but it's very easy to assimilate. It's very easy to digest. It's still giving the digestive system this much needed break, for a lot of us at least. And because the bone broth is going to have sodium, it's going to have magnesium, it's going to have some collagen protein, some amino acids, it's really going to help to steer off any muscle protein breakdown during this fast. And it's going to help satiate the appetite to make it more feasible and a lot easier to accomplish this whole process. Now, will that deter from some of the benefits? Slightly, but in my opinion, it's going to be more additive than it is subtractive in the big scheme of things, in making it easier to accomplish this. Because yeah, in a perfect world, you do a water fast with the perfect quotient of added minerals to your water and nothing else. That's the holy grail of multi-day fasting, but that's not very feasible for most of us. That's hard. That's really, really, really hard. What I'm proposing here is significantly more achievable and also just going to be a lot more enjoyable. And this is something you could revisit on a monthly or quarterly basis. And so you're going to have that in the morning, and then you're going to do the same thing in the afternoon. You could skip the juice in the afternoon and just do the bone broth. You could bring in both, entirely your choice. But that is the basis of the fast. You could have coffee and tea in the morning, organic ideally. Don't add a stick of butter to your coffee. You don't need it. But if you're used to adding a little bit of healthy fat, it wouldn't really deter from a lot of these benefits. And ultimately, that's going to be the gist of it. Now, my RK fasting protocol has all the ingredients and recipes for this. It's got my favorite seasoning blend to add to the bone broth to make it taste like freaking fantastic. But it's that simple, folks. And so then the question becomes, Ryan, how long do I do this for? Is this 24 hours? Is this 2 days, 3 days, 5 days? The answer is it's up to you. Depending on the person I'm working with, I might have them do this for anywhere from 2 to 3 days to start things out. I always like to tell people, set an achievable, realistic timeline at the beginning, because that's going to get you through the hump, because that first day or two is challenging, and then play it by ear. So what I would say is, finish dinner tonight or whenever you're going to start this. You finish dinner, let's say 5, 6 o'clock. The next day you start your fast. I would do 1 full day until dinner the next day. So we're looking at a 48-hour fasting window between dinner on, let's say, Sunday night to dinner on Tuesday night. You're fasting all day Monday, all the way through the night. Then you're fasting and doing this modified fast on Tuesday until you break it with dinner. That's very achievable. It doesn't feel that difficult. It really feels like you're fasting one day, because Sunday you're eating, and then by Tuesday you're like, well, I'm going to be eating dinner tonight. So it's really not that extremely difficult. Now, come Tuesday, I always recommend people see how you feel, see how you're progressing. Is this like not that hard? And are you feeling wonderful? Keep it going. The optimal timeline for this fast would be about 3 to 5 days. Now, you don't have to do it that long, and you're still going to get benefit if you did it for 24 hours. You're still going to get benefit if you just did it for half a day. This is what you had for breakfast, and then you only ate dinner that day. You're going to get benefit. It's not all or nothing. So gauge it on how you're feeling, gauge it on your goals. If you're very slender, looking to gain weight, and at an unhealthily low weight, this probably isn't going to be the best strategy or intervention for you. Now, it can help with any type of gut issues. It can help with longevity benefits, but you're not going to want to restrict calories to that extent if you're underweight. Now, if you're severely overweight, you'd be well served doing it for a much longer period of time. And this isn't just a weight loss tool. I will say I've had people lose upwards of 10 pounds in 3 or 4 days, some of which, of course, is water weight, but nonetheless, lose a tremendous amount of weight, feel better, look slimmer. But that's not the reason I have people do it. That's one side benefit. The reason I have people do it is primarily for resetting and helping to give the gut this healing space, kind of evening out the playing field. If someone's challenged with severe chronic bloating and with some digestive support, some enzymes, some HCl, their bloating is still not going down. As we're working to rebuild the gut and kill off any candida or yeast overgrowth or SIBO or whatever is the culprit to that bloating, while we're doing that, it's very difficult if they got constant fermentation going on in the gut. So we need to help manage the bloating so that we could kill off the overgrowth or imbalance in the microbiome. And this is a very effective strategy to do that. It's also very effective, like I said, just to build that momentum and get that initial inertia to propel you towards success on your health journey. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, email me, reach out with a message if you want a PDF download of this specific fasting protocol I've developed and I've had tremendous success with personally and professionally in my practice. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you found it helpful, please share it along to anyone else you believe it can serve. You can submit your own question to be answered on the show by going to ryankennedyhealth.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review for the show. Your feedback helps to support me on my mission to positively impact as many people as possible with this information. Please note, the information depicted in this episode is purely for informational purposes only. Please consult your healthcare professional before making any changes to your lifestyle or routine.